What's up, YouTube? It is Aiden here, and we're talking about being stealth and then also being misgendered this week on the channel. And I was thinking about this a lot this week, actually, and my I guess my conclusion has always been, um, at least right now in my life, being stealth just doesn't seem to be Um, kind of what I'm looking for. I do a lot of advocacy work and speaking in public about my trans identity and kind of what that experience was like for me. And I can't really be stealth and talk about those experiences with people at the same time. So right now in my life, I'm really okay being out. Um, obviously when situations aren't appropriate or it's not really safe for me to do so, I don't necessarily go around though, just introducing myself as trans. Um, but if it happens to come up or it seems appropriate to something I'm talking about, whether that's in school or at work or something. Um, I definitely think it's just an opportunity for me to hopefully share my experience and then let that potentially educate somebody maybe who just doesn't really understand the trans community. Um, I personally don't really have a like. I don't think being stealth or not being stealth is bad or good. I have a lot of friends who um, are stealth, and whether that's for professional reasons or for safety reasons because of where they live. You have to do what you have to do, and if it's just a personal decision and it's something you feel more comfortable with, then you need to do what you need to do. For me, though, I actually it's kind of a funny story. I tried to sort of experiment with not coming out um, at my most recent job where I'm working right now, just more as an experiment because I wanted to interact with my coworkers, not as like, oh, that's the new trans guy, um, but more as just like, how are they going to react and see me just as who I am. So I tried this little experiment, but unfortunately, I'm already out enough in LA and networking wise that somebody had already um, basically outed me, not necessarily like about my being trans specifically, but it came up in conversation, and some people that I've actually known for years happened to mention something. So this whole time that I thought I was being like sort of stealth, so to speak, everybody already knew, and it actually just made things really awkward. And that's what I don't like. I don't like feeling like I need to hide part of my experience or part of my life, and that's another reason I just don't feel like being stealth is something I want to do right now. Um, my trans identity is so important to me, and I feel like it's a large part of my experience and what has shaped me and kind of my personality. And I don't want to just, sort of, oh, I transitioned and just sort of let it go um, because it was such a like instrumental piece of my life. Um, so that's kind of my whole, I guess, thing on being stealth. Um, in terms of being misgendered, this happens still on and off for me. I want to say, obviously, the majority of the time, I can walk around and I pass. But, every so often, like I'll be out at dinner with Mary and people will say, oh, how can I help you ladies? And, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at them like, man, what else do I need to do? I've been on testosterone now for a couple years and I had top surgery. Um, but apparently, I still have feminine enough features that they feel like I'm female. So, but I want to say that maybe like 90 to 95% of the time, people don't address me as female. They do see me as male. Yeah, another, it's funny though, is it happens like in these weird waves where like over this course of the last probably 6 months, it's happened. quite a few times actually, and when it does happen, they were like really close together, like all in the same week, kind of a thing. Um, and I try and tell myself that it's, at the same time it's a good thing, and not to take it personally. That it could be a sign of um, just the general community, the community we live in, our society, becoming more open to androgyny and a little bit to, like masculinity in women. And I think that's a good thing. You don't have to be like wearing high heels and have really long hair to be, a beautiful woman. And if people can understand that and see that in somebody, then that's okay. If it means they mess up a couple times with me, um, I don't take it like I used to when I started my transition. It was really hard for me. Anytime somebody said, miss or ma'am, or we'd be at dinner and that same "how can I help you, ladies" would happen. It used to kind of put me in these weird funks, and I think it was just because I was still really sensitive to where I was in my own identity. I was just coming out, so I was really kind of proud of that moment, and then I always felt like it was that like one step forward, two steps back kind of a thing. And as my transition has progressed, I don't feel as sensitive to that anymore. Most of the time, I laugh a little bit, just because you know the majority of the time now people see me as male, so it's always a little bit interesting when somebody addresses me as female. I have theory on it though, and this is just from observation, but I feel like as an Asian American, I tend to have softer physical facial features than my other racial and ethnic friends would have. So, I don't really have facial hair. I'm a little bit shorter, so I feel like it just compared to like when I'm sitting with a table of a bunch of white folks with like, 5 o'clock shadows across their face, I probably appear quite a bit more feminine than um, I think I look these days. So that's just a theory, and I've had to learn to really kind of roll with it and learn to laugh a little bit about the times that people mess up and understand at the end of the day that you know um, it's a learning process and people are all on different spots of that curve. And some days folks are going to get it right and some days they're not, and maybe some days I just happen to look more feminine. um, and maybe it's just that they're really tired and they're not even looking at me, they're really only looking at the people I'm with, and most of the time they're mostly female anyways. So it happens, and um, it definitely wasn't easy, but it's something that I think um, I appreciate a little bit more now, and it kind of helped me see where I was at in my transition and kind of almost like a gauge as to you know how my transition was going. Like the more people started addressing me as male versus addressing me as female, um, kind of told me where I was at, in my own masculinity and in my own um, kind of stepping stones and ladder, you know, uh, kind of thing. So you have to excuse the beanie. Uh, it for me is really cold. It's like 40 degrees here in LA, and that's freezing for me. So, but anyways, I hope everybody has a really great Christmas or holiday, whatever you celebrate, and I'll look forward to talking to you all in the new year. All right.